Hi everyone, welcome to Grow Roots. This is Shannon and welcome to my July 2025 front garden tour. So welcome everybody. If it is your first time joining me at Grow Roots, thank you so much for joining in. I hope that you love what you see, and if you do, please hit that subscribe button. But today I'm going to take you through my front garden in the month of July. I am in North Texas on the border of Zone 8A and Zone 8B, and this summer, this July, this is probably like record breaking for me in my garden anyway, because usually my garden is looking so tired and not like this because usually we have hit like 100-degree temperatures day after day after day by this time in mid-July, and so far this year we honestly have yet to hit 100 degrees. Now, the feels like temperatures, we've definitely hit 100 degrees, and we're in the mid 90s for sure, and in the upper 90s, and really starting tomorrow we're gonna start being in hundreds and things like that too. But so far the garden is loving this. This a bit of reprieve from what we normally have, which are these 100-degree temperatures. So I'm going to take you through my garden and show you what it looks like really kind of at its peak. And so I'm going to start right here with my little garden goose. We call her Silly Goose. Let's see. Let's start with the foundation plantings. I have a hedge of sunshine ligustrum planted here as my foundation planting, and they are looking fantastic. To be completely honest, y'all, we actually really struggled with the sunshine ligustrum this year. We had a mass infestation of whitefly, and I let it get too bad. I tried to treat it with just, spraying it down with water. Nope, that wasn't working. Then I started spraying it down with insecticidal soap, and I did that continually, like every 5 to 7 days for a few weeks. It was just not even touching it. Like every time you touched this plant, like whitefly would fly out of it. And so what we ended up doing is cutting it way down. You could see like a little bit of it burnt when we did that. We pruned it really, really hard. And then I did go ahead and get out the, it actually was Bayer 3-in-1 rose and shrub care, and it says that it's for shrubs. I typically do not recommend this product if you have a flowering plant, or if you have a plant that is super close to a flowering plant, because it is not good for our pollinators. It's a systematic pesticide that gets into the root systems and can kill whitefly and some other things. And let me tell you, it worked well. It was granules that I just placed right next to the root ball system of each one of these. I think there's 5 sunshine ligustrum. The only plant that I worried about is this gomphrena right here, but honestly it's planted pretty far away from that root system. There are no granules that are next to that flowering plant, and so I'm not too worried about the pollinators there. But it's really the only, I tried other methods and that was the only thing that worked. And now the sunshine ligustrum is filling out and looking good, and I don't have whitefly everywhere, so I'm really happy about that. Coming over here, I have some containers, and I usually tell you guys just wait for the container garden tour, but I did my July container garden tour a couple of weeks ago, like 1st of July, so I'm just going to update you on how all of the containers are going. They're looking pretty good. This might be new for you all. I just got this on clearance, and so this is sweet potato vine mixed with these blanket flower. The blanket flower are kind of, even though they're propped up, they're still kind of wanting to, what's the word I'm looking for? Fall over everywhere. But they are so pretty. I love this plant. This was grown by seed, and I'm just loving it. It's a little bit floppy in nature, but I'm going to plant it in the landscape. I have a new garden area. Stay tuned for my backyard garden tour, and you'll find out where my new garden area is in my backyard that I will be planting this blanket flower in. And then next to it, I do have a container of petunias that's still going strong. And then there's some white salvia in there that's finally starting to compete a little bit with those petunias. Petunias in North Texas, they just don't do all that well for us. The trick is to kind of get them like mid-season. So I did this in, I think, late June. I cut all of these back completely by about a third, and then it took a few weeks to reflush, but now it has reflushed. And I also have been fertilizing it, maybe not as much as I should be, but once every week, once every 10 days or so, these guys are getting fertilized with the Proven Winners annual fertilizer, the granular that gets mixed up with the water. So that's what that is. I still have lobelia trying to hang in there, but it doesn't do well in this heat, and so it's petering out. And then I have Creeping Jenny that is just doing really, really well in this container. And in this container, I actually had Summer Pastels yarrow with some dichondra, and someone or something broke off the blooms off of that yarrow, and I moved it to the backyard. I'm still, again, going to plant it in the landscape, but I wanted something interesting in the front here. So I recently picked up, just a couple weeks ago, I picked up a mixture of some, I guess you could call them succulent-like annuals that are really, really good for the heat. I've never tried any of these before, and to be honest, I get all of these confused with each other. So let me tell you what they are really quick. This one right here is Portulaca, and it's getting ready to flower a lot. I just don't see a whole lot of flowers on that Portulaca. And then my favorite of these is Dew Plant, which I just really like the way that the leaves look on the Dew Plant. Super, super, super cute. That's what that looks like. The one that is winning the race so far out of these four, they were all little tiny things that I got on clearance at Callaway's, but this one is Moss Plant or Portulaca, and wow, it's stunning. The colors on the flowers are stunning. It looks like it's going to be like in full bloom and just tomorrow even. But you could see it's bigger than all of the rest. This one has more of a creeping habit, the purslane. The Dew Plant I think will be a creeping habit. This one is more of upright and creeping. And then in the very back, this one is just not, it's not like, oh wait, it is creeping down pretty far. This is another creeper, but this is Ice Plant. No other information, no other type. That's one of the flowers from the Ice Plant. So that's what that is. And that container is looking pretty good, and I think it will withstand the heat really, really well. So coming back into the garden, I have a couple of things planted right here under my welcome sign. I have some pink scaevola, some blue scaevola. I did have sparkling amethyst verbena in there, but it got overrun by whitefly, so it's just barely hanging on in there. And then I have Maynight salvia all down here. You can see kind of the last of those blooms. It blooms a little bit continuously throughout the summer for me. It's getting a few new blooms there. The big show is in the spring for sure for Maynight salvia. And you can see, actually this is a little bit of that sparkling amethyst superbena. This is what the whitefly did to it. But I've got some new growth coming up that does not have whitefly damage. So I'm hoping that bounces back. The Maynight salvia too was ravaged pretty well with that whitefly infestation. So hopefully it's fine. Like you can tell the plant is not affected too much, other than the leaves don't look super great. But right here, I actually have a container, if you can see it right there. But in the container is one of my favorite container plantings that I've ever done. This is blue scaevola, which is performing amazingly in this heat. There's dichondra, and then there's some cascading Cora vinca in white, in pink, and there was a light pink one in here, but I think it didn't make it. Not all of the cascading vinca has made it because we have gotten quite a bit of rain, but I love how the dichondra is now like mixing in with everything. Everything's mixing in together. It's absolutely beautiful. You can't even tell that that's a container there. And in this container is a Limelight Hydrangea Standard. Now, I grew this myself. I did not purchase it. I trained it to be this Limelight standard, and it is in full sun in this location. So what that means, what I have found is, like, the plant itself is doing just fine. This is its second summer here in this location, and it does survive, but the blooms are gonna eventually completely fry. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay with me. I love this plant so much. And this year is the year that I finally get to see like that tree kind of shape from it. And it's doing well here in full sun. There are a lot of people that say even panicle hydrangeas in North Texas, you can't grow them in full sun. Well, I've grown this for 2 years now in full sun and been successful. But like, you're not going to be able to see these white blooms for too much longer because they will fry in the full sun, and here in Texas anyway. So let's go now to the garden border, which is one of my favorite garden borders that I have done so far in my garden. And I just love it so much. So these are all dwarf varieties of zinnia. Some of them are pinwheel zinnias, some are Zahara mix zinnias, and some are profusion double cherry. So this one obviously is profusion double cherry, just an amazing variety. I did not have great germination. These are from Eden Brothers, and I did give them some feedback. The germination on this packet was terrible, and I mean like 20% germination. So they did give me a refund when I when I gave my review and said that. But the plants that made it were unbelievable. These, again, they're either Zahara or pinwheels. I forget which is which, but they're just striking. They're stunning. They are that perfect dwarf zinnia that goes perfect for a border, and I grew them all from seed, and I'm just so happy. The Maynite salvia is even coming in here and mixing with it. I mean, I'm just so happy. I will tell you one little secret. I have had a little bit of a hard time growing annuals in the last couple of years. For whatever reason, these spots, like, I'll just get sudden plant death in some of these spots. So this year I tried something new, and it is working brilliantly so far. These zinnias are actually planted in terracotta pots. Probably can't see them. Do you see that? That terracotta pot is buried. I have, oh my gosh, 10 of them, 12 of them. There are 10 or 12 of these zinnias planted in terracotta pots all throughout here. And what that does is, whatever it was, whether I have moles, so it could have been moles digging. I also found tree roots from my Vitex tree. So it could have been just the tree roots from the Vitex tree running into these roots and killing them. But whatever it is, the terracotta pots are keeping it from killing the roots and the root systems. And so I've been very successful with these zinnias so far. And I do have to come and deadhead them, but not crazy. Like once every couple weeks is when I do it. Probably just my favorite border that I've ever done. So colorful, so beautiful. Love it. Back behind here is kind of it's okay though. I do have Sweet William that is still trying to bloom for me, which is incredible. Let's see, I have Rudbeckia growing here, and I have said this so many times, I can't really successfully grow Rudbeckia without it growing, you know, end of season like this. So I probably got powdery mildew. I've probably got a bug that's eating the foliage. I've got all of the things affecting this plant, but yet it is still blooming for me, and I'm just going to let it take its course. I grow Rudbeckia like I grow annuals, honestly. If it doesn't make it through this whole season, that's okay, because they're so incredibly striking until they just aren't. But they are so beautiful, and you know, mixed with everything else in the garden, it just looks absolutely beautiful. And I have another Rudbeckia on the other side of my bird bath there too. So hidden over here, I do have a daylily. It is done blooming, so it's kind of cool that the Rudbeckia is now just kind of taking over this spot. There's Maynite salvia over there. I have some lemon ball sedum that's really just barely getting any sunlight because everything else is overtaking it. And then coming back here into the garden, I have, I believe it or not, I'm almost sure I planted a Queenie Lime Zinnia right there. And so that's what type of zinnia I have growing over there. And then I have a white Gomphrena globosa, and it's doing beautiful back there. I have a new echinacea. It starts with an M. It's like a red kind of color there. Kind of struggling because I did just kind of plant it, but it's doing good. I deadheaded everything, and then new blooms are coming in, so it's doing okay. And then over here, back here, I have a pink Gomphrena globosa, another white, and another echinacea under there somewhere, and a red daylily over there somewhere. They're just kind of getting crazy with each other. Coming over here, starting about right here, starts more of a shade microclimate in my front garden, and that's because of this Vitex tree. This year's a little bit different because I had a third branch that was coming this way that was just trying to completely overtake my garden, so I cut it down in the late winter, and the Vitex tree has not really grown anything over there. So what used to be shade is kind of a part shade now, and so it's kind of a weird spot. But what's planted in here are things that can handle shade and part shade together. And so I've got just some wax begonias. They're doing great. I have variegated Vinca major back here as a ground cover. I have dianthus that's still, gosh, dianthus, y'all, for us, it perennializes for the most part, and it just blooms continuously. It might not be in full bloom right now, but it really is such a great plant, and it's evergreen. I love how the Gomphrena globosa is mixing in here, mixing in all throughout this Rudbeckia. Honestly, it's gorgeous. I have some Dusty Miller dotted all throughout here, and then I have a plant that I grew from seed called Azuratum leda. I have never grown Azuratum leda before, or any type of Azuratum, to be honest, and I love it. Honestly, this is an annual type of Azuratum, and I have noticed it does a lot better in part shade than it does full sun for me here in Texas. But as long as I keep deadheading it, it just is striking and growing new blooms like all the time. It's really a gorgeous plant. I absolutely love it. I love that blue color bloom. I have a garden sheep, Lambo, that's getting hidden by the ground cover and the Dusty Miller. I do have some Ajuga ground cover, Burgundy Glow Ajuga with some Dusty Miller, variegated Vinca major coming through, and then I have some coral bells here as well. Coming back around, more Ajuga and more variegated Vinca major. And then I have my beautiful, beautiful endless summer hydrangea. I hope the lighting is good. We are getting a little bit later in the day than I usually film, so I hope it's good for you. But this endless summer hydrangea has been in the ground here for about 5 years. It's almost 5 feet tall and wide, and this is what I'm telling y'all. So I don't know what. Did you guys see what flew out of there? I don't know what it was, but I'm good. Okay. I'm a huge advocate, and I love, love, love. That's what it was, you guys. What is that? It's a moth, and it's so beautiful. See if I can get you. Look at you, bud. Oh my goodness. Say hi to YouTube. You're gorgeous. Oh my gosh. That is so beautiful. That was inside my hydrangea that kind of came out at me. Scared me a little bit. All right, moving on. I love hydrangeas so much, and here in North Texas, it can be a little bit tricky to grow them, but I'm here to tell you that you can, and they can also thrive in your garden if you grow them in the right conditions and give them what they need. And so I have a whole video about that. If you are interested and you live in a hot climate and you think that you cannot grow these, I'm here to tell you you can, and I can help you with that. So watch that video, and I've gotten such great feedback from so many people on that video, so I hope that it helps you. But one thing that I have said is that if you leave your hydrangea blooms on all season long, they go through a green phase, which is like this. This is my green phase. Still totally beautiful. Okay, I didn't used to like this, and I used to chop these off, but I learned to love them, and I think they're beautiful. But as you can see, after the green phase, they start turning this beautiful color pink, and they will continue to age like this all through fall and all through winter, where by December they will be completely dark mauve, dark purple, dark maroon, whatever you want to call that color. It's absolutely stunning. And so this hydrangea probably has about 60 blooms on it right now, and leaving them on, and they will just be this beautiful magenta color. Now, one thing that this plant has never had to worry about is this side of it has a lot more sun than it is used to, because the vitex tree doesn't have that branch over it anymore. So you will see that some of these blooms are frying, and so I may have to go in and clip a few of these off, probably those for sure, because they're just getting more sun than they're used to. But if you look, there's a little bit of leaf scorch. Maybe that might be a little bit of bacterial infection, I'm not sure, but the plant is doing awesome for getting a little bit of midday sun that it's not used to. So that's really, really awesome, and it's doing great. And it's because it's super established. That's why it's doing well. It has acclimated to this area. It has a new challenge this year, but it's overcoming that challenge really, really well. So super, super happy with that. You can even see this beautiful new bloom that's part pink and part purple. Just wanted to point that out. It continues to bloom all through the summer, which is why it's called an endless summer hydrangea. So that's it for this portion of the garden, but I do have this little like square-ish planting bed that a lot of the builders like to put in. And so I have a 3-ball topiary here, and it is a Carolina Sapphire Cypress. And this is its first year. It is in a pot, and it's so much bigger than it was starting out this season. I'm so happy with it. I do need to go, well, I have been going and trimming it, keeping it that like ball shape, but it's doing really, really, really well. Love it. And then down here I have, let's see, this one is another dwarf zinnia, getting a little bit bigger than the others for whatever reason. I have another azuratum down here. Gosh, look at that. It's absolutely beautiful. So, so beautiful. I love this plant. I really do. I will be growing this plant from now on. I have variegated liriope planted all throughout here, and some of it bloomed there. And yeah, and then I have I have Confederate Star Jasmine back here somewhere, but taking over is black-eyed Susan vine, and it is just taking off, going crazy. It will bloom a little bit in the spring, and it did bloom just a tiny bit, but it was just barely getting going in the spring. And so we will see a huge show of orange blooms on this vine probably in October. So that will be absolutely lovely. And then I have a hedge of some, let's see, I don't remember if they're winter gem or baby gem. I'm pretty sure these are baby gem boxwoods, and they're doing fabulous. I apologize for if you've seen a little bit of a mess. This is related to a new garden area that we are putting in the backyard, and we're in process. It's not done by any means, and I won't be planting it up until the fall, but that's just really exciting. But there's a bit of a mess. Anyway, so coming on to my porch again, my porch is just full of containers, and I normally cover them in my container garden tour, except I won't be doing another July container garden tour, and there's some new things, so I have to show you. So look here, this is one Gerbera daisy plant, and it is starting to rebloom for me. So this Gerbera daisy anyway, I've only ever grown this one. This is only its second year with me, and it blooms in the spring. I get this huge show of these beautiful hot pink blooms, and then it'll stop, and then it'll start blooming again last year it started blooming again in the fall. So this is a little early. This is midsummer. So I'm really surprised to see another flush of blooms, but I am very pleasantly surprised. I love that it's blooming again, but just look, it's like massive. It's so massive. This is like an 18-inch container and you can't even see it. So that's one plant. It's crazy. Next to it, I have an encore azalea. It is autumn sunset, I believe. And so it has these really pretty pink coral blooms in the spring. Oh, did you see that baby? The baby lizard. Hi, how are you, bud? Oh, you're so tiny. I'm not gonna get you, don't worry. Oh, so cute. Anyway, I'm expecting that this will start putting on buds pretty soon for a fall show. I'm hoping anyway. It's doing really well. And then I have, this is my evergreen piece. This is a variegated English ivy that's grown up a topiary here in this pot, and it's doing fabulous. And then here is another endless summer hydrangea. This thing, I'm not going to call it a thing. This spectacular specimen of a plant is 14 years old. I have had it here in this location, in this pot, which is, you can't even see it, for 14 years now. I got it for Mother's Day in 2011, and it's just doing fabulous. It's in its green phase. It's not as far along as my other hydrangea, and I think it's because it doesn't get as much sun as the other hydrangea does, but still doing great. Here's a newer bloom. See, it continues to bloom all throughout the season. And again, this one also is probably full about 60 or so blooms. So absolutely beautiful. It does have a bit of chlorosis, and I have hit it with some soil acidifier. I haven't done iron chelate yet. I've done coffee grounds, which usually helps, banana water. It's just, this plant is massive. It's huge. And so for it to be in a container where, honestly, I haven't switched out the soil. I haven't done anything except I've added compost every year and soil acidifier and all of the things that hydrangeas love, but I haven't changed out the soil, and so I'm not surprised that I deal with a little bit of chlorosis, and I'm okay with that. I'll hit it with some iron chelate here pretty soon. And then this one is a variegated lace cap hydrangea, and I've had it for about 5 years. This year was the first year that it bloomed, and when we went on vacation, it did not get watered quite enough. It survived just fine, but the blooms on it kind of fried a little bit, so I had to take most of those off. But here is one of them that kind of lasted. Look at that. Even the little petal is variegated, which is so crazy and interesting to me. I had another one of, oh, there we go. Here's what they would look like if I had them still on the plant in this green phase. And I just want to see, are these variegated? No, these are solid green. I don't know why that one is variegated. It's so interesting. But I've got new growth coming up all over it, which is great. And it looks fabulous. I just absolutely love the color of this foliage. It's really super striking. I love variegated foliage, but this is probably my favorite variegated plant. For sure. Like, I love those greens and creams and all of the things. And right over here on my porch, I have a 3-tiered planter that's looking pretty good. I'm pretty proud of it. I've got some coleus growing here. I've got a hydrangea that I propagated growing here, foxtail fern. This coral bell is going to go in my backyard where I had one that didn't make it, and I'll plant that in the fall. Ajuga, which will be planted in the fall. These gorgeous canary wing begonias. I'm obsessed with these, you guys. They're so pretty. This was a tiny little plant when I got it, and it's beautiful. This is an Everillo Carex, I think, that I got on clearance. Begonia that I got on clearance in January, so it's not doing super well. It's not flowering, but it's still alive. I've got another type of coleus there. I've got a foxtail fern and another, I think, dragon wing begonia there, a red color. So those are doing good. And then I've got This is a house plant for me. Tradescantia zebrina is in a pot that's, believe it or not, it's on a plant stand inside of a pot, and you can't see the plant stand anymore, but there it is. Okay, there's the pot, and down below it is a dianthus that's planted in there, and then some variegated English ivy as well. Now, it wouldn't be a front garden tour if I didn't actually show you like my front lawn, which I'm not going to take credit for our front lawn. My husband is the one that takes care of our grass, and he does a great job. It is Palisades zoysia, if anybody is curious, and it is gorgeous right now. But I also have 2 containers. Hopefully it's not too dark for you guys to see them, but they are called my Curbside containers. One right there and one right there, and they are looking fabulous. Oh my goodness. So this is Mystic Spire's blue salvia. Fantastic plant. Oh my goodness, the bees love it. I can barely get near it during the day because they are covered in bees. I just deadheaded this a week ago. I took off every single bloom. I cut every bloom on this plant, and it has reflushed in a week, and I've got more and more and more and more and more to come. It's just spectacular and stunning and all of the things. I love, love, love this plant, and it overwintered for me. So another bonus. Wow. And then underneath it, I've got some cascading vinca doing pretty well in pink and white. I do have on the back end, this is so interesting. This is Superbena sparkling amethyst. It was part of that plant over there. I only had one, and I pulled part of this to put it over here so that these could match. And the blooms just look a little bit different. They don't look exactly like it. And as a matter of fact, these blooms reverted back to this whatever yellow Proven Winners, probably like hybrid. It's a hybrid, I'm sure. And so replanting it somehow like made it revert, I think. It's also getting kind of eaten a little bit with things, I'm sure, but it's blooming and it's doing pretty good. So I'm pretty happy about that, especially since like I pulled it away and transplanted it here in the summertime. So, and then this one is exactly the same thing. This Superbena sparkling amethyst though is all over. So you'll see it's coming up into the vinca in the front and just mixing all with it. And it looks absolutely beautiful. I love it so much. And then again, of course, that Mystic Spire's blue salvia as the thriller. Again, I deadheaded this a week ago and it's completely full again. So just love, love, love that plant. And I will tell you what, the bees love it too. Butterflies, yes, but for some reason, the bees are more attracted to this plant than the butterflies are for me. But there you go. And one last look at the garden. I am just so thrilled that the garden looks like this in July. The heat is on. The heat is coming. The heat is on already. And this garden will not look this way for too much longer. So I am just savoring every day that I see this color. I'm so happy with the way that the design turned out this year, especially with the garden border and how well the containers are doing. And I'm just so pleased. I just want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today. Again, if you liked what you saw, please subscribe to my channel. I do monthly front and back garden tours, as well as container garden tours and random plant videos all throughout as well. And I'd love to have you join. Just thank you everybody for watching. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye-bye, everybody.